Welcome to my channel. Let me ask you something. Have you ever opened an English book and closed it after 5 minutes? You try to focus, but your mind drifts. You check your phone, you yawn, you feel sleepy, and you wonder, why can't I enjoy reading English like others do? Stay with me, because today I'm going to show you how to read English books without getting bored. And I promise, it's not about reading more. It's about reading smarter. Chapter 1. The real reason you get bored while reading. Let's begin with a simple story. Imagine a person who wants to learn English. Maybe it's you. You go to the market or an online store. You buy a new English book. It has a nice cover. You feel excited. You say to yourself, "This time I will finish the whole book. I will enjoy it. I will learn a lot." You go home. You open the first page. You read the first line, then the second. But suddenly, something happens. You don't understand the third line. There are new words. The sentence is long. The grammar looks strange. You try to read more. But your mind says, "This is hard." You keep reading, but you are not enjoying. After 5 minutes, your eyes feel heavy. You close the book. You pick up your phone. And inside your heart, you feel disappointed. You ask yourself, why can't I read like others? Why do I always get bored? Now listen carefully. This happens to almost every English learner. You are not weak. You are not lazy. You are not slow. The problem is not you. The problem is the method. Most learners start with the wrong book. They choose books that are too advanced, too serious, too academic. They pick books that native speakers read. But they forget. They are still beginners. You would never teach a baby to run before the baby can walk, right? In the same way, you must read books that match your current level, not your dream level. Your brain is not a machine. It's a living thing. And your brain gets bored when it doesn't feel anything, when it doesn't get a small reward, when it sees a page with too many difficult words. Your brain says, "This is not fun. Let's stop." But when it reads something simple and emotional, it wakes up. It feels alive. It wants to continue. Boredom is not about laziness. It is about disconnect. If the story has no meaning to you, if the words don't paint a picture in your mind, if the sentences feel like a test, not a journey, your brain shuts down. Think about this. When you watch a movie, even with subtitles, you feel something. You laugh, you cry, you smile. Why? Because your brain sees the faces, the voices, the story. It feels real. But when you read a book that is cold, difficult, or too formal, your brain feels nothing. That's the difference. So here's the big moment. The spike. The realization. You are not the problem. Your reading strategy is. You were trying to climb a mountain with the wrong shoes. You need to change your approach. You need to stop reading to impress others and start reading to connect with the story. Start reading for emotion, not only for education. And let me tell you one more thing. You don't have to understand every word. That's not the goal. The goal is to feel the story, even if you miss a few words. The goal is to enjoy reading so much that you don't want to stop. That's how your English will grow. when you stop trying too hard and start feeling more. In the next chapter, I'll show you exactly how to pick the right English book for your level. Books that make you smile, not sleep. Are you ready? Let's go deeper. Chapter 2. Choose the right book, even if you're a beginner. Now that you know boredom is not your fault, it's time to fix the real issue: choosing the wrong book. Most English learners don't fail because they're not smart. They fail because they start with the wrong book. They pick big, famous novels written for native speakers. Books with heavy grammar, old language, and complicated words. Books they don't actually enjoy. They choose those books because someone told them, "This is a classic," or "This will improve your vocabulary." But you know what happens? You read 2 pages and stop. You don't feel the story. You feel like a student again. And slowly, reading becomes a task, not a joy. Let me tell you something important. You have permission to enjoy easy books. You are not in school. You are learning English to live, to grow, to feel free. So stop thinking you must read big books to become fluent. That's not true. In fact, small books are the doorway to fluency. The right book should feel like a friend. It should speak to your heart, not just your brain. So what kind of books should you read? Choose simple, emotional, story-driven books. Forget about grammar books or school textbooks. Instead, look for these types of books. 1. Graded readers. These are English books made especially for learners. They come in levels: beginner, intermediate, advanced. The sentences are short. The vocabulary is easy. The stories are interesting. Some even have audio. Try the Penguin Readers or Oxford Bookworms series. 2. Bilingual stories. These are books where one page is in English and the other page is in your native language. So if you feel confused, just check the other side. It helps you learn without stress. 3. Children's books. Yes, even if you're an adult. Children's books use easy words and strong emotions. And many of them are full of magic, friendship, and wonder. Books like The Cat in the Hat, Charlotte's Web, or even fairy tales are perfect. 4. Easy fiction. Simple novels like Diary of a Wimpy Kid or easy versions of classics like The Secret Garden can be wonderful. These books are written in daily English with clear sentences and emotional stories. And of course, learner stories like I Go to London, stories that are written for people just like you, are gold. They are simple, they are real, and they are written in the way you think and speak. Now, how do you know if a book is right for you? Use this quick test. Open any page, read one paragraph. If there are more than 5 words you don't understand, that book is too hard for now. Don't feel bad. Just put it down and find a better one. Reading a hard book doesn't make you strong. Reading the right book makes you grow. You find a book that feels like home. You start reading it, and this time, you don't want to stop. You forget the time. You smile at the sentences. You even reread a page just because it felt good. That book becomes your world. And slowly, without stress, your English improves. Reading should feel like walking with a friend, not climbing a mountain alone. So go ahead. Give yourself permission to read what you love. Easy books, fun books, emotional stories. Because the more you enjoy it, the more you'll read. And the more you read, the more fluent you'll become. In the next chapter, I'll teach you a powerful trick: how to read a book like you're watching a movie in your mind. This will change your whole reading experience. Let's turn the page together. Chapter 3. Use the movie method. Read like you're watching a story. Let me share a secret. Most English learners read books the wrong way. They sit with a pen. They underline words. They try to translate every sentence. They stop after every difficult word. And slowly, reading becomes boring. It feels like work, like studying for an exam. But reading is not supposed to be like that. Reading is not only about words. It's about feeling the story. It's about pictures, emotions, sounds, and imagination. That's why today, I want to teach you something magical: the movie method. Here's what it means. The next time you read a sentence, don't just read it with your eyes. See it. Feel it. Imagine it like a scene in a movie. Reading is not only for your brain, it is also for your heart and your eyes. When you read a sentence like, "She opened the door, and the room was dark," stop for a second. Don't rush. Close your eyes. Can you see her? Can you feel her hand on the doorknob? Can you hear the sound as the door slowly opens? Can you feel the silence of the dark room? That's the movie method. You are not just reading, you are watching. Let's try it together with a simple example. Read this slowly. The boy sat alone on the bench. The rain touched his hair. His eyes looked at the street. Empty, quiet, cold. Now pause. Picture it. You're not studying this. You're watching it. You are there. You can see the bench. You can hear the raindrops. You can feel his sadness. That's what makes the story alive. You don't need to understand every word. You don't need a dictionary. Your brain is smart. When you imagine the scene, your brain fills in the gaps. You understand the feeling, and that is more important than perfect meaning. Language is not about knowing every word. It's about connection, emotion, and experience. This is how children learn language. They don't open grammar books. They don't stop and ask, "What does this word mean?" Number. They listen to stories. They watch. They imagine. They live inside the story. You can do the same. Your brain learns faster when it enjoys the process, and imagination makes everything more powerful. Here's what I want you to try. When you read your book today, slow down. Read with your eyes, but also with your heart. Try to see the story, not just understand it. You can even act it a little. Whisper the dialogues. Change your voice. Become the character. If the book says, "She laughed and said, 'You're so funny,' then say it like her. Smile. Pretend. Feel it. This makes reading fun again. It becomes a game, a journey, a movie inside your mind. You don't even notice time passing. You don't check your phone. Because now you are part of the story. When it works, you read one sentence, and suddenly you don't just see words. You see a girl, you see a door, you see a room. You are not just reading English, you are living it. And when that happens, your brain says, "I like this. Let's read more." That's how boredom disappears, not by studying more, but by feeling more. You see, the movie method is not a trick. It's how all good readers read. Even in their native language, they imagine, They connect. They feel. And now you can do that in English too. In the next chapter, I'll show you how to build this habit without pressure. Even if you read for just 5 minutes a day, you can change your English forever if you do it the right way. Let's turn the next page and learn how. Chapter 4. Read less, feel more. How to build the habit without pressure. Here's something many learners don't understand. You don't need to read for hours to improve your English. In fact, trying to read too much can make you tired, bored, and frustrated. Many beginners say, "Today I will read 10 pages." They sit with a book. They read fast. They don't understand much. They don't enjoy it. And after 2 days, they stop completely. That's called burnout. You push too hard too soon, and then you give up. But there's a better way, a smarter way, and it starts with just 5 minutes a day. Yes, 5 minutes. That's enough. But those 5 minutes must be full of feeling. They must be joyful. If you read one paragraph and feel it, imagine it, enjoy it, live it, then you have done something powerful. You have built a habit. You have made your brain say, "That was nice. Let's do it again tomorrow." And that's the secret. Not pressure, not goals, just one moment every day that feels good. Let me give you a routine that many successful learners use. It's called morning tea plus 1 page. When you wake up, make a cup of tea or coffee. Sit in a quiet place, take your book, open it. Don't check your phone. Just read 1 page. Not 5, not 10. 1. But read it slowly. Read it like you are watching a movie, just like we learned before. If the line says, "The sun rose slowly above the trees," then pause. Imagine it. Feel the warmth. See the trees. That 1 page becomes a peaceful moment. It becomes a gift to yourself. You can also make the environment special. Play soft background music, instrumental, no words. Light a candle. Sit by the window. Make reading something cozy and warm, something you look forward to. And if you like, read out loud. Whisper the words. Let your voice feel the language. When you speak what you read, the language becomes real. It enters your ears, your mouth, your memory. This is not about how many pages you finish. This is about how deeply you enjoy the story. Because when you enjoy it, you will come back. Every day. And that's what builds fluency. Not one big reading session, but many small, beautiful ones. Let me share a short story. A student once told me, "Sir, I tried your 5-minute reading habit. I did it with my morning tea every day. After 2 weeks, I realized something. I was waiting for that moment. It became my favorite part of the day. That's when I smiled. When you stop reading because you have to, and start reading because you want to, that's when reading becomes a habit. That's when English becomes your friend. You don't need big steps. You just need small, emotional steps every day. 1 paragraph, 1 page, 1 moment. That's enough. That's how you fall in love with English. And that's how you stop getting bored. In the next chapter, I'll show you how to actually learn from what you read without killing the joy. No grammar drills, no long word lists, just natural, happy learning from every page. Chapter 5. Learn while reading without killing the joy. So far, You've learned how to enjoy reading English books without getting bored. You've picked the right kind of books. You've started imagining stories like movies. You've built a daily habit. But now, maybe you're asking, how do I actually learn from reading? How do I grow my vocabulary? How do I improve my grammar? How do I become more confident without turning my reading time into a boring grammar class? That's exactly what we're going to talk about in this final chapter. Because yes, you can learn a lot while reading, but you must do it the right way, with joy, not pressure. Here's the first tip. Don't stop at every new word. If you stop every time you don't know a word, the magic of the story breaks. You lose the flow. So instead, try this. Guess the meaning from the sentence. Trust your brain. For example, if the book says, "The boy climbed the ladder and reached the attic," and you don't know the word attic, just think, what makes sense here? Climb? Reach? Maybe it means a room above the house? That's enough. You don't need a dictionary right now. Understanding the feeling is more important than understanding every word. Now, if you see a word many times and it still feels important, just write it down. But don't write 10 words from one page. That's too much. Just choose 1 or 2 new words per page. Only the words that really catch your attention, words that you feel are useful. Then, use them, speak them, make a sentence with them later that day. For example, if you learned attic, you could say, "There's an old box in the attic." When you use the word in real life, it stays with you. Here's another powerful tool, a reading diary. After you finish reading, take 1 minute. Write 1 sentence, not a translation, not a summary, just how you felt. For example, "Today, I felt sad when the girl said goodbye to her friend." Or, "I didn't understand everything, but the story made me smile." This is important because it helps your brain connect language to emotion. That is how real learning happens. Also, don't forget about shadowing. That means you choose a part of your book, maybe a small dialogue, and read it out loud. Try to say it exactly like it sounds in your head, with feeling, with voice. If it says, "I don't want to go," then say it like someone who's upset. Add emotion. Act a little. This is how reading can help your speaking skills too. You see, reading is more than just reading. It can teach you vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and even confidence if you read with feeling and connection. You don't need grammar exercises. The grammar is already inside the sentences. You don't need vocabulary lists. The words are already in the story. Just live the story, feel it, and slowly your English will grow. And now comes the most powerful moment of all, the spike moment. One day you finish a book. Maybe it was short. Maybe it was simple. But you turn the last page. You close the book, and you smile. Not because you studied, but because you lived the story. You walked with the characters. You saw their world. You felt their feelings. And suddenly, you realize you're not just learning English anymore. You're living it. That is the power of reading. Not to pass a test, not to impress others, but to connect, feel, and grow. So now the question is, are you ready to begin your reading journey? Thank you for watching. If this video helped you, if it gave you even one new idea to enjoy reading again, then I invite you to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and tell me in the comments, what English book will you try next? Let's read, learn, and grow together, because English is not just a language, it's a door to a new world.